We have the official spoiler for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex chapter 17. As we can see, Jura is back in Konoha and it seems like he came back to the village to get more books from the Konoha bookstore, just as Kashi and Koji predicted. The bookstore owner can be seen just standing there in shock watching Jura taking some books from the shelf, which makes me wonder if he was standing there out of fear for who this mysterious individual that showed up to his bookstore is, or they were ordered by Shikamaru to treat him like a normal customer and acting on the orders of the Hokage, which had to make sure that no one pisses off Jura if he decides to make an appearance in the village again. There's a few implications of Jura coming back to Konoha. What we know so far is that Jura and the Shinju are still seeking more knowledge about the world around them, and Jura is collecting books as a part of feeding that desire to acquire more knowledge. The only thing we don't know is why Jura or the Shinju are seeking more knowledge apart from just acting on pure instinct and curiosity. So this might be an opportunity for us to find out what could be the other reasons why the Shinju are seeking more knowledge and what is their end goal as soon as they believe that they have acquired all the knowledge that they needed. One of the theories I came up with in a previous video is that the Shinju are seeking more knowledge so that they can better understand the world around them and also bolster their intelligence. And when that eventually happens, the Shinju will be fully aware that they are on top of the food chain, not just in power but also in intelligence. The Shinju are the evolution of the Ten Tails, with the Jura being the incarnation of the Ten Tails itself, not a copy of any other shinobi trapped in a clogrime tree. The Ten Tails was a beast that only acted on the instinct that told it to feed on the Otsutsuki and cause destruction, but didn't have that much intelligence except knowing that it needs to protect itself from any attacks directed towards it. So with that Ten Tails having evolved and having more knowledge acquired, the Shinju won't only have the power to dominate the planet by simply using force to take down anything and anyone that tries to oppose them, when it is now the time to consume the Otsutsuki, which is Boruto or Kawaki, and plant the divine tree to acquire the chakra fruit, a source of power containing the genetic information of all life on the planet. The Shinju will also have the intelligence to know how they plan to carry out that action and see if they'll still be interested in consuming the Otsutsuki or their motivations are going to change. Jura did mention that their thirst for knowledge surpasses their instinct to feed on the Otsutsuki and harvest the chakra fruit, at least for the time being. So we can assume that it is still highly possible that they won't completely forget about the instinctual desire to feed on the Otsutsuki. Also assuming that Jura doesn't deem Boruto and Kawaki to be too much of a threat to the Shinju, that he just ends up disposing of the two of them, leaving the Shinju in a position where they have no Otsutsuki to consume. Jura already views Boruto as too much of a nuisance and someone that could potentially be a threat to the Shinju. He has determined that they need to deal with him permanently before he gets too powerful for them to handle. He even sent Code on a mission to kill Boruto and Kashi and Koji. That's how much he views Boruto as a genuine potential threat to the Shinju's existence. Now imagine if Kawaki ends up getting Amaru to remove the limiters on his offensive power and starts training to get on Boruto's level. It'll make Boruto and Kawaki a formidable force to deal with, especially if they work together to defeat the Shinju. So in order to protect himself and the other Shinju, Jura would be more than willing to get rid of any chances for them to experience a further evolution by consuming an Otsutsuki and planting a divine tree to harvest a chakra fruit, giving them access to more power and the genetic information of all living creatures on the planet. The interesting part of it is that Jura would be giving up the chance to feed both his instinctual desire of consuming the Otsutsuki and attaining more knowledge, by choosing self-preservation if he ends up killing both Boruto and Kawaki. So it might turn into a lose-lose situation for Jura. This is why we need to know if there are other reasons why he is collecting information and looking to attain more knowledge. What is Jura going to do with the information he is collecting from all the books that he has read? How is he going to use that knowledge for something else that isn't related to consuming the Otsutsuki? This is the first implication of the panel showing us that Jura is collecting information despite actively looking for Boruto and Kashi and Koji. The other implication is that this is a good way to reintroduce Kakashi Hatake back into the story. The village is in a crisis and Kakashi Hatake is nowhere to be seen. Even though the OG characters don't appear as much in Boruto, this is the perfect time to reintroduce Kakashi Hatake back into the story with the whole Shinju ordeal. It is a bit strange for the village to be in a crisis and for the former 6th Hokage not to show up and help the village deal with the crisis. He wasn't there for the whole incident with Ishiki Otsutsuki and the Kara organization. He also hasn't been seen after the disappearance of the 7th Hokage Naruto, someone that is very close to him. He needs to make an appearance now more than ever. So a good way for him to show up again is for Kakashi Sensei to have a confrontation with Jura in one of Konoha's bookstores. Kakashi sensei has always been someone interested in books and stuff like novels, especially Jiraiya sensei's novels. It wouldn't be a strange coincidence for him to run into Jura in the bookstore. It can be a situation where he was summoned to the village by the feudal lord of the land of fire, Ikkyo Madoka, since he is losing patience with Konoha failing to deal with Boruto. Or he was summoned to the village by those two elders for the Boruto situation and also the Shinju crisis that the village is facing. The Boruto manga could also provide us with an explanation as to why he wasn't there for the Ishiki incident and also for the situation with Kara. So let me know what y'all think about this chapter 17 spoiler and what are your predictions for this upcoming chapter. Subscribe to the channel for more Boruto content and check out this video that goes into detail about why Kakashi sensei was summoned to deal with the Boruto situation.